sprouted antlers. Like a gazelle. Like an elk. He landed again, he ran. He scored a touchdown.
Nicolas Cage, an actor that will be talked about for generations to come. With his unique style and mannerisms, Cage started his acting career receiving worldwide critical acclaim and even an Oscar. Yeah, I bet you didn't know he had won an Oscar, and you know, they don't just hand those out. But after several poor financial decisions, like buying a haunted mansion and a T-Rex skull, which, side note, there is a non-0% chance that that T-Rex skull ended up at that haunted mansion, and now the skull is possessed by a ghost. Don't worry about it though, I'm sure it's only a problem if the full T-Rex skeleton got put back together. This has resulted in Cage being in quite a lot of stinkers, to the point where people have started asking the question, is Nick Cage even a good actor, or did he just have a shtick that ran out of juice? And today, I finally want to answer this question once and for all by watching the worst Nicolas Cage movies of all time. But how can someone decide a list like this? Because not every website has the same rules or formats. Well, I decided I would go to the most popular movie review sites such as IMDb, Metacritic, and of course, Rotten Tomatoes, and take the worst ranked movies from every website that have Nicolas Cage as top billing, meaning he's the star of the movie, like he's not in any supporting roles or anything like that. You're seeing this movie because Nicolas Cage is in it. Then I averaged out these scores to get the 11 worst movies that Nicolas Cage has been in. And I'll tell you right now, these are some movies I will not forget anytime soon. Yeah, buckle up, because here we go. So I bet you're wondering, why did he decide to do the top 11 worst movies? Well, I was gonna do the top 10 worst movies, but then I was looking at the final rankings and I was just like, man, Ghost Rider 2 is right there. So I was like, you know, F it, I'll do the top 11 worst movies, why not? You know, just like and subscribe, please, for the little extra work. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really wish I didn't do the extra work. But yeah, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. So after the first movie, Nicolas Cage is hiding out in Europe and trying to suppress the inner Ghost Rider in him, and I mean, aren't we all? So for the people who didn't see the first movie, here's a quick recap. Nicolas Cage sells his soul to save his father's life and is now cursed to become the Ghost Rider. The devil who orchestrated this whole deal double crosses him. Very surprising, I know. And Cage now lives with the Ghost Rider powers. Now, in the second movie, Cage gets recruited by Idris Elba to protect a young boy and his mother from the boy becoming a new vessel for the devil. And the boy is the perfect vessel for the devil because the devil is his dad.
No, I get it. You're the devil's baby mama.
You banged the devil? Does he get jealous if you two are like going at it and you just start saying like, oh my God, and Jesus? It's like, babe, stop thinking about those guys. You know I hate them. Now I want to be upfront here. I am very happy that Nicolas Cage got this opportunity to play a superhero. It's something he's always wanted. And honestly, come on Marvel, put Cage in the next Avengers movie. I know you want to. But this movie just feels off and weird. They try to start this movie off really edgy, but I don't think they realize how stupid everything sounds.
I used to ride a motorcycle for a living. I did a bare ass 360 triple backflip in front of 22,000 people. It's kind of funny. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Yeah, YouTube, because they have such a high standard for posting videos. It's not like they make you take an IQ test or anything. And honestly, thank God. And they try to explain how the Ghost Rider goes after anyone who's done something bad, and I mean anything bad.
Maybe you're not a murderer, but you did something you wouldn't want the writer to see. A white lie, an illegal download.
Oh no, Ghost Rider is gonna come after me because I downloaded Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3 Viva La Fiesta? Fuck! Now this movie is stupid, but there are layers on how stupid it is. They're silly stupid, like one of the henchmen gets stuck in a car and another bad guy's like, hey, gotta stop eating Twinkies.
Told you to stop eating the Twinkies.
Or after a car chase, Idris Elba gets pushed off a cliff and from his words was saved by an intervention of God.
My brothers are dead, as should I be, if not for the intervention of God.
What the hell was that? You know, it's like Bugs Bunny after he jumps out of a plane. He's just casually hanging out. And what was that music? Are people waking up to go to band camp right now? But this is my favorite clip. It's when Nicolas Cage is explaining why the devil appears as different people.
Why does the devil walk on Earth in human form anyway? I have no idea. Maybe he doesn't know either. Maybe he just passes on from body to body, down through history, waiting for the perfect fit.
Holy shit, what a major stray Jerry Springer just caught. I'm not gonna lie though, Jerry Springer running hell does sound pretty entertaining. So that's silly stupid, but there's also just people being stupid. Like, I don't know why, but all the henchmen think that guns are gonna kill the skeleton that's on fire.
We'll kill it!
Yeah, guys, I don't think that's gonna work. I honestly think you would have a better chance calling the Ghostbusters. I will give these guys some credit though. They do pivot from guns to grenade launchers.
Get some.
That knocks out Ghost Rider for a bit, but, you know, comes back. So then they pivot to using a rocket launcher. What? That didn't work? Okay, have you guys thought about nuking him? But that brings us to the final level of stupid in this movie. Stupid. This is where on all levels what is happening on screen is stupid. Like after a big fight with the bad guys, the Ghost Rider slowly walks up towards the boy and the kid stares down the Ghost Rider and somehow makes him change back to Nicolas Cage.
So, that happened.
Oh my God. Sorry to the devil, I know he hates hearing that phrase. But what are these guys gonna do next? The whole oh, he's right behind me, isn't he? After a big fight with one of the bad guys, the Ghost Rider wins and throws the dude off the car.
Roadkill.
Jesus, man, that's just so stupid. Sorry again to the devil. I know I just said the other guy's name, but I can't help it. I would have taken a see you in hell or maybe even a, sorry, road rage. Like Marvel, come on, your dialogue isn't supposed to get bad till like 2020. And the one smart thing this movie tries to do is emulate Terminator 2 with Nicolas Cage being the father figure to this kid, but their scenes just come off flat. They have this one scene where the kid asks what it's like when the Ghost Rider pees.
Hey, what if you have to pee while you're on fire?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower, you know, it's like...
Yeah, dude, I think you have a different problem because when you pee, it isn't ever supposed to burn. And the movie is very proud of this joke because they play it again.
Think of a flamethrower.
Yeah, dude, I think you have a different problem because when you pee, it isn't ever supposed to burn. Hey, if the movie's gonna do it, so am I. I was proud of that joke. I thought about making a fire crotch joke, it just wasn't as good as the burn joke. So you might have noticed that the special effects in this movie are pretty bad. This movie came out in 2011 and it looks worse than a PS2 game. To be honest, out of all the movies we're going to be talking about today, I think this one actually has the worst special effects. There are some effects that look worse in other movies, but those movies are working with a way lower budget than these guys. I also was very unimpressed with some of the filmmaking in this movie. Like, tell me what this guy is saying in the scene. What? Huh?
So jackass. Dude, why are we whispering?
Something jackass, I'm dead. When I first watched this movie, it was on Disney Plus, which in general was a very weird space to find that movie. But when I was watching this scene on Disney Plus, they put subtitles under this. I didn't put those on. And unfortunately, I didn't record my first time watching this movie. And of course, Disney Plus then yanked this movie off their site. But they legit put subtitles on this scene, which is something I have never seen a movie have to do before. And in some of the action scenes too, they really cheap out and do this black screen effect, which is definitely to save money, but it just makes everything look like crap. I'm sorry, but what am I even looking at here? It looks like some demonic filter you would find on TikTok. Now, I have neglected to talk about the man of the hour, Nicolas Cage. This is quite a movie for him because he just goes absolutely nuts.
Yeah? That thing is inside of me. See, you're a bad man. And this thing, the writer, he feeds on Batman and he's hungry. He's hungrier than he's been in years, and that's why I'm shaking. Because right now, the only thing standing between you and the writer is me. And he's scraping at the door. Scraping at the door. All right, if you don't tell me what I want to know, I'm gonna let him out.
I mean, what do I even say to that? The combination of the bad effects and Cage overacting, it's just, it's like he really needs to go to the bathroom and he's just holding it in.
You're not gonna mention this conversation to anyone, are you? Oh, yeah.
We then have this one scene on a motorcycle where Cage is like turning into the Hulk. I mean, this is why you're watching the video, right? Like, you want to see Cage just lose his freaking mind. But here's the thing. In the other movies that we're going to be watching today, when Cage loses his mind, it's still grounded in some way. In this movie, he just acts like a psychopath that's gone manic. There's nothing really to connect to Cage's character here, and you're just sort of watching being like, wow, he's really overacting here. In the rest of the movie, he's just a really weird guy. Like, he drinks straight out of a water pitcher. Chug, chug, chug. Chug, chug. Aww. Oh, chug, chug, chug.
So what's next?
Cage also has some very cringy flirting techniques.
Oh, you're awake.
Hi. It's funny because when you walked in, I thought I was still dreaming.
You have hallucinate?
No, man, I'm not hallucinating. Look, I'm flirting with you. Yes, Formasa.
You really take my breath away. No. I don't need CPR. And there's this one ayahuasca scene where Cage is trying to get rid of the Ghost Rider curse, and we end up watching more crappy effects. But apparently the trip makes Cage forget what time of year it is. Oh man, it's Christmas? Damn, I'm definitely on the naughty list because I downloaded Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3 Viva La Fiesta. Damn, I just hope I don't go to Jerry Springer's hell because of it. Cage does have one good monologue here, but other than that, he's just really unhinged in this movie. And I was surprised how subdued Ghost Rider is in this movie. Like, he pretty much just shows up for a few action scenes and then goes away. Like, I thought he would have a bigger personality here, but he's sort of just there. In the end, Cage revives the young kid from being dead, and we get even more bad CGI. Alright guys, there's some YouTube tutorials and After Effects I can show you. I think it will really help you out. And the movie ends with a little last bit of edginess.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah. This movie, man, like, yikes. I was not expecting it to be this bad. The effects are atrocious. The dialogue is terrible. Nick Cage is unhinged. The only silver lining is that Cage looks like he's having fun at least. But this movie is also just really boring, and it's bad, but it's more like distractingly bad rather than fun bad. It's more like, wow, did they seriously just do that? Rather than like, oh my god, I can't believe they just did that. And you know, I'm also bummed that Cage didn't bring his haunted T-Rex skull into this. And another movie I was bummed that Cage didn't bring his haunted T-Rex skull into is Pay the Ghost. Pay the Ghost is a 2015 supernatural horror film about Nicolas Cage trying to find his child who's been abducted by a ghost witch during Halloween. After a year with no signs of the child, Cage starts to see spooky things that seem to be from the great beyond. This movie is a really by-the-numbers horror film that really isn't that scary and uses cliches that you've seen a million times. The little kid draws something creepy and the parents are disturbed by it.
You want to tell me about that?
That's the thing I saw outside my window.
They hire a psychic where one parent is very skeptical and the other one's like, well, we've tried everything else. Then the psychic turns out to be legit, but then gets killed by the ghost. And then there are jump scares. It is sort of funny because they have this one jump scare that's like 5 seconds delayed. Dude, what was that? You can't do a jump scare when you've already shown off the creepy thing and you just add like a loud noise to it. But my favorite scare of the whole movie is when they try to make a Razor scooter scary. Yeah, I'm quite spooked by that. You know, I've been seeing these cars with no one in them, but they're still driving. It's really spooky. It is sad to see this movie fall into these cliches because it does have effective scary moments in it. But the movie isn't confident in itself and it relies on these cheap jump scares because it knows it works to a certain extent. But watch this one scene.
Time's up. You need to leave.
Like, that's creepy because they were able to build this like unsettling atmosphere. They have this one scene where the kidnapped son takes over the mom's body to talk to Cage.
I'm cold, Dad. It's cold here.
Charlie?
She's coming, Dad. I'm scared.
And as Cage gets closer, he realizes that his wife is using scissors to cut a specific symbol into herself. Okay, the kid's voice, that was sort of stupid, but the scissors stuff, that was disturbing. But the movie doesn't believe it can pull off these scary moments, so it just defaults to jump scares. Come on, that was creepy, and you didn't have to like ruin it at the end there, just ugh. Cage looks like he got handed the script 20 minutes before they started filming. But to be fair to Cage, it would be really hard for this dialogue to sound good.
I got it.
You got what?
Drum roll, please. I got tenure.
So we'll celebrate tonight.
Everything's going to be better now. I'm sorry we didn't carve pumpkins together.
It's okay. I know you got a lot of work to do.
No, it's not okay. I promise I'd be there. Promises dads make to their sons are special things. You know you're the most important person in the world to me, right?
Yeah.
Let's get some ice cream.
Geez, with a tender father-son moment like that, I don't think anything bad's gonna happen to this kid. Wait, the kid gets abducted right after this scene? Phew, this movie, man. So many twists and turns.
The boy that was wearing this hat, did you see him?
Sir, you okay?
My son was wearing this hat!
Sir.
Charlie!
Hey, buddy.
Officer, this is my son's hat! He's missing!
When did you see him last?
He was right here by the ice cream truck. He was right next to me.
Sir, do you live around here? Maybe he just went home.
Hey, officer, you're not gonna do anything else to help this guy out? You're not gonna call your other cop friends to try and find this missing kid? I would assume you have a code name for kids going missing next to an ice cream truck. So a year goes by in the movie and Cage starts to see ghosts and he tries to figure out what pay the ghosts actually means.
What does it mean?
Just what it says, I guess.
Wow, super helpful. Thank you, man. All right, does the ghost have Venmo? Because I'll pay that to get my kid back. At this point, the parents hire the psychic who dies. And the cops come by and they're like, hey, you know, don't leave town anytime soon.
And until I figure out what the hell happened around here, don't be leaving town anytime soon.
I'm sorry, are you implying that my husband had anything to do with this?
I mean, like, yeah. What, you're expecting the cops to accept that a ghost came and killed this woman? No. You know, you two are lucky you're not in cuffs right now. So Cage and his wife go up to this group of people that are doing like witch stuff on Halloween, and they just start to trauma dump on this one woman.
Our son was abducted last year on Halloween.
I'm sorry to hear that.
For almost a year after he disappeared, there was nothing. Then 2 days ago, we began to hear his voice. Moments when we could see him.
I'm just a school teacher from Bayside. We get together here every Halloween for fun.
She's like, yeah, I don't really know how to help you guys, but also here's the rest of the information you need to finish the movie.
This is the waxing moon. You can tell because the crescent face is left. It is said that hate made her forget her true nature as a mother. It is believed that there was one day a year when the crone could take someone to the other side. And she returns to take 3 children on Halloween night.
Thank you. For a woman who says she doesn't know a lot about witches, you sure do know a lot about witches. But here, tell me this one thing. The witch that's taking all these children, does she also live in a gingerbread house? In the end, Cage finds his son and saves him and some other kids. And Cage didn't even have to pay the ghost. Yeah, you can keep sending that Venmo reminder all you want. You're not gonna get it. Then we get some good old-fashioned sequel bait. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. It sucks to see a movie that might have been able to pull something off get, for a lack of better word, too scared to do it and just relies on old tricks that make this movie a C-level movie rather than trying to make an A-level movie. Cage isn't too bad, he just looks very lost and bored. But believe it or not, this is not the first movie where Cage fights a witch. The first would be Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch is about a group of men tasked with escorting a possible witch across a plague-ravaged land to a monastery where this possible witch will be put on trial. On this journey, the group will be faced with supernatural forces and dangers. This movie definitely has its quirks. Like, all the people are like, oh yeah, this woman, she might be a witch.
She's just a girl.
But this woman is just so clearly a witch. Like, I don't know why we're debating about it. She's introduced to us by crawling on all fours like she's Gollum or something. She unwittingly drinks this potion that is supposed to knock her out. It doesn't affect her, and then she fights the men. She howls to get the attention of wolves who end up attacking the group. And throughout all of this, Cage is like, yeah, I'm not sure if she's a witch or not, but she does deserve a fair trial.
Back on one condition, that she is given a fair trial. Your innocence or guilt will be decided. You will be given a fair trial.
Yeah, man, I'm all about like a fair trial and everything, but if a murderer keeps trying to murder you as you take them to the courthouse, I don't think you need to be so unbiased. I think you can be like, hey, yeah, this guy, I think he's a murderer.
You will be given a fair trial.
Now, Ron Perlman is the other knight that's with Nick Cage in this movie. And I was surprised to see Perlman in this movie because he's like a well-respected actor that doesn't really seem like he needs to be doing this type of stuff. But Perlman and Cage actually do have really good chemistry here.
I'll take the 300 on the left, you take the 300 on the right.
But if we divide them evenly, who will buy tonight's drinks?
Or you're buying, my friend.
Prepare for battle!
Fine, I'll kill all 600 myself.
Yeah, it's pretty much a ripoff of Legless and Gimli banter, but, you know, at least they're ripping off something good. And it does seem like Cage and Perlman are having fun filming with one another. In the opening of the movie, they show you all the battles the two have fought together, and it's actually very entertaining.
Do not yield until every enemy of God has fallen!
You ever get the feeling God has too many enemies?
I like the camera work in this movie, and I gotta give credit to Nicolas Cage. He is giving it his all.
Glorious day for the church.
You call this glorious? Murdering women and children?
Know your place, knight. You pledge your life to the cause.
For God, not for this.
I am the herald of God in this world. His voice rings ever in my ears.
Perhaps it is not his voice you hear.
How dare you? Who controls your insolent tongue, Bayman?
Like, look at his face there. He looks pissed off. The problem with this movie is that it feels like someone's first attempt at a D&D campaign. You got your party, you got the place you need to get to, you encounter people who are trying to stop you, and then you get to your final destination. And that's pretty much the movie. It doesn't really bring any unique twists to this formula. When our characters finally get to the monastery for this witch trial, they are all surprised to see that everybody is dead.
We must go. There is no hope here. Only the plague.
And I know what you're thinking. How is this maybe witch gonna get a fair trial? Well, at this point, the maybe witch is like, all right, guys, I gotcha.
But I must confess, I have deceived you.
Oh man, geez, you really snowed me there, yeah. Remind me never to play poker with you. So now that the jig is up, the witch starts talking like Cage's old crazy priest leader.
They are godless people, infidels. They have sinned against God and against His only Son, Jesus Christ. They must be punished.
All right, yeah, that was pretty stupid. But there is a twist that I guarantee you haven't seen coming yet.
This is no witch. This is no witch.
Yeah, she's not a witch, she's a demon. Oh, if you're a demon, you can go on your merry way. Yeah, we only care about women who are witches. Yeah, you're totally fine. So the climactic battle begins, our whole crew is fighting the demon, and Ron Perlman tries to headbutt it. Alright, that was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. In the end, our crew defeats the demon, but it is at the cost of Perlman and Cage dying. Don't worry though, because apparently this demon was controlling this innocent woman this whole time, and she's okay now. And with Cage's dying breath, he tells this guy to protect this random woman.
What can I do?
Keep her safe.
Cool, yeah, you know, you've never met this woman, she could suck. But that's where our movie ends. Like I said, this isn't a terrible movie. I do like the chemistry between Perlman and Cage, which, you know, does carry a lot of the movie. Decent action with a formulaic story, but it did what it had to do. I think I would enjoy this story more as a D&D campaign than an actual movie, but It wasn't that bad. I wasn't raging at the end of this movie. I wasn't like, oh my god, we need to destroy every copy of this movie in the world so no one will ever watch this bad movie again. A movie that might cause this type of rage is Nicolas Cage's next movie, Rage. So this is how I imagine Rage was pitched to people. Hey, have you seen Taken with Liam Neeson? Okay, that, but with Nicolas Cage. Thank you, yeah. And people think AI is gonna take over Hollywood. So the plot is about Liam Neeson. Yeah, you saw what I did there. Nicolas Cage plays a reformed criminal whose daughter is kidnapped, leading him to use his special set of skills to find her and seek revenge. Before the kidnapping, Cage's life seems to be going great. His daughter's about to go to Princeton. He has a new wife after his first wife passed away. Only negative is that he needs to find someone new to dye his hair. And to be honest, his new wife is a little too perfect.
We're a team here, right?
Yes, we are a team, but she's...
No buts. None of this she's my daughter bullshit, all right? I love the two of you, and I'm here for you both. You got it?
You know, you're very sexy when you put me in my place.
Oh, what a supportive and understanding wife. Nothing suspicious going around here. And then another surprising actor to be in a Nicolas Cage movie, Danny Glover is in this.
Six Skull Cross? Chernov's men, huh?
Meet Sasha Barat. Rap shit as long as my dick.
Man, there is an easy joke right there, but I respect Danny Glover too much to say it. Glover plays a cop in this movie, which is something I've never seen him ever do before. And he's also the guy who's like, Cage, don't you fall back into old bad habits, okay?
I just don't want you falling back on any of your old habits.
Yeah, he's the cop who's like, I'm doing all I can, but there is the law I need to follow. And Cage, don't you start doing what you want to do or you'll force my hand. Cage is very intense in this movie, but weirdly in a monotoned way.
Honey, do you mind?
I want to know.
No, really, you don't.
It is sort of funny, like in the scene where one of Cage's daughter's guy friends comes to the house, and Cage is like, what's your intentions with my daughter?
So, are you gonna ask my daughter out?
What?
I see the way you look at her.
I didn't think you'd let her go out, you know?
You smoke weed?
No.
No drugs at all?
No.
No drugs at all? Pfft, okay, never mind. I don't want my daughter dating a square like you. You know, how about you go off and try some meth, then I'll think about it. Cage has this other scene with the boyfriend, and he talks about how he protected his first wife's honor.
He was to say I had to defend her honor, because that's what gentlemen do. They protect women. So I went and I got the tire iron out of the trunk of my car, and I broke both his legs.
Yeah, I broke both of his legs and he was begging for forgiveness, so I went easy on him and only cut off one of his pinkies. Yeah. Anyways, you still want to date my daughter? When the daughter gets kidnapped, the boyfriend and another friend are there, but they don't get kidnapped. Cage questions the boyfriend after this, and he has some pretty high expectations for a teenager to protect his daughter.
They had guns.
I would expect you to get shot trying to protect her.
You expect this guy to get shot for your daughter? Dude, I don't even think they're dating right now. You just told him you were okay with him dating. Doesn't mean they started dating like right then. Cage, at this point you can expect a guy to like take an arrow to the knee, but that's it. Cage is then like, all right, these kidnappers, let's stereotype them.
The kidnappers, do they have an accent? Do they sound Russian? Puerto Rican? Did they use any weird slang? Did they sound like goomballs?
Man, I don't know.
Okay, what do they smell like?
Did they look like this? Did they mention a castle that they were going to? God damn, this has Bowser all over it. Cage then gets his old mob friends to help him out, and these guys are pretty unhinged. They're presented to us like they're reformed and everything, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. They aren't. One guy owns a restaurant where the doorman sells meth.
Talk to the doorman. No meth at the door.
The doorman sell meth?
Don't worry about it.
Cage is like, normally I would tell you to fire this person, but tell me, is he single? There's this one point where the two guys are interrogating this drug dealer, trying to figure out where the daughter is. The dealer doesn't know, so one of the guys goes off, grabs the drug dealer's girlfriend, and starts torturing her. They tie a rope around her neck, throw a cinder block through the window that causes her to choke, and the drug dealer guy is like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
See you around, Oliver. Jesus, I can't believe I hit that rope.
What, you never done that shit before?
Hell no, I thought for sure she was going for a 2-story swan dive.
You're one horrible guy.
Yeah, right. You're a saint, huh?
Yeah, I am a horrible guy, aren't I? It's so funny, because I'm just quirky like that. So I do need to give this movie some credit, because they do something here that I did not see coming. Later on in the movie, it's revealed that the people that kidnapped Nick Cage's daughter actually killed her. Holy shit, that is... wow. That is the most bold thing I've seen a movie do in quite some time. You know, maybe this movie's written better than I thought. Cage thinks the Russian mob is behind all of this, because before Cage went straight, him and his friends... before Cage walked away from a life of crime, him and his friends decided to... damn it, I lost my train of thought. Cage and his friends stole a lot of money from the Russian mob, but never got caught. So Cage thinks the Russian mob has figured out everything and is trying to get revenge on him and his friends. Cage chases down a mob member to figure out who killed his daughter, but then gets a little too carried away in his interrogation tactics. Yeah, you never answered my question, and yeah, to make sure you never answer my question, I'm gonna put a whole Glock's worth of bullets in ya. Cage and his goons try to get into a game of poker with the Russians. They don't get in and barge in anyways. But Cage, you know, he still wants to play poker. I wonder what he said to that guy to start immediately fighting him, like, haha, yeah, Russian hats. They look sort of stupid, especially on you. After this fight, the group goes into another Russian lair and kills everyone. Whoa, deja vu. Also, side note, before they break into this Russian drug den, they're all listening to gangster rap. I am really tired of this cliche. Like, I don't go to many drug dens, you know, not something I do on a weekend, but I can't imagine all of them are listening to gangster rap like one time. I really want them to be listening to like show tunes. Nick Cage breaks down the door and he's like, oh my god, is that Hamilton? I love that musical. Anyways, here's a random cop car that blows up for no reason. Yeah, sick. So Cage can't figure out who told the Russians that him and his friends took that money all these years ago. But then Cage realizes that they might have a rat, and this rat might be eating cheese inside the house.
We swore not to talk about it, not to spend the money, not to draw attention to ourselves. I'm not a rat! You are a rat!
Rat! Yeah, these outbursts just... It's what keeps me going. So Cage, he gets a little too excited here and accidentally kills his friend. No, not that guy. He was such a good guy, especially when he was torturing that one woman for no reason.
Hell no, I thought for sure she was going for a 2-story swan dive. You're one horrible guy.
So we finally get the big reveal on who ratted out Nick Cage and killed the daughter. Wait, Oh, what? No, not her. No, that's the answer if this movie was a competent movie. No. This movie, just gotta get back here, decides to do something a lot stupider. Wow, that is really stupid. So is the boyfriend like a Russian mastermind? Does he work with the mob? Or, maybe even the Kremlin? No, none of that. So why does he kill the daughter? Because it was an accident. Because the two boys are playing with Cage's old guns like they're toddlers. And the boys accidentally shot her.
All right, hand it over.
Oh my fucking god. I retract everything I said about this movie possibly being written well. All of this happened because two teenagers were being dumb shits. Do you realize how many people died because of this? Cage tries to intimidate the boyfriend by using the worst gun effects you have ever seen.
Please, no!
But Cage stops his revenge tour and spares the kid's life. I would say this is character growth, but I think Cage's character is more just embarrassed by this whole situation. Like, oh my god, I went to war with the Russian mob because two teenagers were being fucking idiots. And I think this cringe actually kills Cage because he just willingly lets the Russian mob come into his house and shoot him. Please free me of this cringe. And that's where the movie ends. So yeah, Cage actually dies there. And yeah, that's sort of it. This movie is extremely violent and you don't really have anyone you're rooting for because everyone is just objectively terrible. And then it is sort of like, wow, a lot of people died for really no reason. It makes you feel really empty at the end, and that might be the point, which cool, but there was a lot of stupid things that needed to happen to get to where we did. Like, did the cops really get outsmarted by two dumbass teenagers who just improvised a murder cover-up? Come on, Danny Glover.
Rap sheet as long as my dick.
But another movie that made me really question detective skills, it's a Nicolas Cage iconically terrible movie, and let's be honest, it's a reason why you clicked on this video, Nicolas Cage's The Wicker Man. Man, I was excited to watch this movie, and it did not disappoint. So, the plot. Nicolas Cage plays a cop who goes to an isolated island to find his ex-fiance's missing daughter. The island is run by this pagan community that seems a little off. As Cage investigates more and more, he realizes that this pagan community might be up to something no good, and maybe even something sinister. Oh man, I'm like a kid at a candy shop. I just don't know where to start. This movie is technically a horror film, but anytime they're trying to scare you, it just comes off very weird and sort of dumb. Like, Cage digs up this grave and finds a doll in it. Oh my god, they killed Weird Barbie? You just think that doll can keep on taking it, and then one day it just snaps. There's one point where Cage is just bursting into houses trying to find the missing girl. You're just gonna walk away from that one? You're not gonna ask any questions on why there was a little girl in the cabinet there? It's not like the mom knew you were coming or anything like that. No? No questions? Okay. But that's sort of the problem with this horror film, is Cage has very subdued reactions to everything going on around him. He just looks slightly off-put by everything that's happening around him, and then he just moves on. Like when he first gets to the island, there are these women who are trying to show him something in a blood-dripping bag. Okay, so because the women are laughing at you, you're not gonna check the body-sized bag that is dripping blood? I mean, you're a freaking cop, man. But no, he just walks it off. There's this other time where Cage talks to a teacher, then walks off to bump into another woman that looks exactly like the teacher, and he's like, didn't I just talk to you?
Hey, didn't I just speak with you? Miss Rose, Sister Rose?
No, you didn't.
Just gonna accept that fact and walk away? Like, dude, what are you doing? And this never gets brought up again, so maybe this woman's a twin, but I don't know, cause Cage didn't freaking ask. He's just like, yeah, that was sort of weird, and weird things keep happening to me, but I'm sure it's nothing. Like, the character that Cage is playing never feels like he's in danger, so why would the audience feel like he is? But then we have some unintentionally funny parts of this movie, like when Cage is hallucinating seeing a little girl on a boat get hit by a truck. See, kids, this is why you look both ways before you do anything. Those trucks are just out to get you. You would think this is something every kid would learn in school, but apparently schools are teaching kids different things nowadays.
What man represents in his purest form.
Phallic symbol, phallic symbol.
Oh my god, that's so dumb. Ah, this movie. What a treat. What a treat. You know, let's just be happy we live in the timeline where this movie actually exists. Like, you gotta take the wins where you can. And man, the movie really thought they were cooking with this one spooky scene where Cage sees the missing girl in the water.
God damn it!
Yeah, double fake out. I'm sorry, I should have warned you before showing you such a scary clip. It's my bad if you can't sleep tonight.
God damn it!
And I don't know why, but the dialogue in this movie feels purposely stilted.
What's happening here the day of tomorrow?
You mean the day after tomorrow? It's kind of a strange way to put it.
Yeah, I suppose. I thought the other was a local expression.
Let's see, day after tomorrow would be May the 2nd. No, nothing as far as I know.
No, I mean tomorrow. What's happening here then?
I told you.
You did?
You know, you could have just been like, hey, is there anything going on tomorrow? No, there isn't. You didn't have to do this whole word salad here. And the conversation just awkwardly ends. Dude, what are you doing? It's like Cage just finished paying for groceries. He's like, all right, I'm gonna take my stuff now. And in this next scene, the dialogue is just so on the nose.
I believe you're looking for a child.
I might have found her.
Excellent.
Not exactly. In a grave.
You suspect foul play.
Yeah. Murder.
Cage, don't tell the people that you think killed the kid that you think they killed the kid. I think they're gonna do something about that. And that's the problem with Cage's character in this movie. He lets everyone know that he's investigating them and that he's there for police business.
This is official police business, and I want to speak to each one of you at some point. I'm a policeman. See my badge?
Yeah, you see my badge? I'm very important. I can throw you in jail. Cage's character is also just not that smart. Like, he's allergic to bees and decides to walk around a whole honey farm, which, you know, is full of bees. And then he decides to walk around this honey farm and gets too distracted to realize he just bumped into a beehive. And instead of running back to where he came from, he decides to run into the field of bees. Come on, dude, Homer Simpson is smarter than this. So then a few scenes after all of this, Cage jumps in some water because he thinks the missing girl might be trapped there, but uh-oh, he gets trapped there. And this guy isn't just smooth-brained, he's also a dick. Like when he goes to a classroom, he erases the whole lesson from the blackboard and then calls the children liars.
You little liars.
Dude, just calm down. These kids just don't know what you're saying. Hold on, just let me bring out my translator. Okay. Yo, this is straight NPC behavior. This isn't a side quest, let's be for real. And no more Delulu, because I feel like y'all are major capping right now. All right, Cage, I think we gotta head out, because I think they're gonna start calling me cringe.
You little liars.
But now we hit the point you all been waiting for, the climax of the movie, where we get iconic lines.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? I don't know!
I think it got burned by fire. Then we have a whole montage of Nicolas Cage fighting women.
What is it? What's wrong, sister?
Nicolas Cage karate kicking a woman and then punching another one in a bear costume. Yeah. This is cinema. So Cage saves the missing girl and then runs off, but the little girl is too fast for Cage.
Rowan, honey, slow down. Rowan, slow down.
He's like, how did you get kidnapped if you run this fast? And then it's revealed that this has all been one big ploy to get Cage to come to the island so they can sacrifice him to the Wicker Man. Everyone starts to swarm Cage and he starts to pull out more karate moves. Damn, Cage, what dojo do you go to? Because that's some brown belt stuff right there. Then Cage has his classic freakouts.
You bitches! This is murder! Murder! You'll all be guilty!
Yeah, you know, all good stuff. But one thing I've never realized before, in this scene, Cage is still wearing his bear costume shoes. And, you know, there are a lot of reasons why you can't take this scene seriously, but he looks like he has hobbit feet during the torture scene. All right, I think you know what's coming next, so drum roll, please. Bring out the bees.
What is it? What is it? What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
Sorry, I misspoke earlier. This is cinema. There's a lot of stupid things in this scene, but do you know what the stupidest part is? There's really no reason for the bees. Like, they break Nicolas Cage's legs. I don't think he's going anywhere. And the bees could have easily killed Cage because he's really allergic. They have an EpiPen for him, but I mean, he got stung a lot. I don't know if one EpiPen is gonna do the job here. That's how I want this movie to end. Like, the cult has been so organized up to this point, and right before the sacrifice, the guy dies. They're just like, oh, fuck. But anyways, they put Cage in the Wicker Man and set it on fire. And in the theatrical cut of this movie, we see the women are now looking for their next sacrifice. And they decide on James Franco.
What do you do? I'm over at the police academy. I just graduated, actually.
And these women want these guys that they're eventually going to be sacrificing to be cops, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like, you're counting on this guy to be your future sacrifice down the line, and you're picking someone whose job is pretty consistently life-threatening. Yeah, not a great plan. It's just like, haha, yes, it's time to get James Franco. Oh, what? He died on duty? Shit. Alright, so that's the movie, and I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Oh, it's bad, but in a very enjoyable way. I've never sat down and actually watched this movie before, but I've seen so many people talk about it online, I thought I pretty much knew it. And even knowing what I did, I still found this really enjoyable. So bad, but yet so good. But now let's talk about a movie I haven't ever seen anyone talk about online, Bangkok Dangerous. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I hear bad Nicolas Cage movie, this is the poster that pops into my head. Like, this looks ridiculous with Cage's long hair, leather jacket, and looking all serious with the angry text below it. And this movie tries so hard to be edgy. Cage plays a hitman named Joe, and he's like, yeah, this is what I do.
My name's Joe. This is what I do.
And you know Cage is a lone wolf because even if you help him out, he'll just casually kill you.
Goodbye.
And Cage does all of this because he lives his life by 4 very strict rules.
1, don't ask questions. 2, don't take an interest in people outside of work. 3, erase every trace. 4, know when to get out.
And number 5, no caffeine after 2 p.m., because I'll be up all night. This movie's pretty much just Cage doing different assassinations in Bangkok. And yes, I did make sure that my apartment was empty before I said that city name. So you might have picked up on the vibe that this movie wants you to take it very seriously. And it surprisingly does things well. I like the camera tracking in these chase scenes, and they use lighting in a lot of different ways. The action isn't too bad either. Like, they actually use the location of Thailand that leads to some set pieces that I haven't really seen before. And while there are good things in this movie, there are some things that just, don't really mesh well with the tone. Like Cage's sidekick in this movie, his name's Kong. After Kong meets Cage for the first time, he calls Cage a duck fucker. Okay, that's a very odd beat for a movie like yourself. There's this one point where Cage is trying to teach Kong reflexes, I guess, and it just turns into like this weird slap fight. Yeah, I can't wait for them to defeat the bad guy by slapping the crap out of him. And unfortunately, this does lead to some of the action scenes being a little too cartoony. Like at one point, Cage just goes full Jaws and kills a guy in a pool. Can't use copyright songs, so I have to get a little creative. There's this one time where a motorcycle hits a wall and explodes. Man, what the hell was in that bike, you know? This is why you gotta drive something reliable, like a Cybertruck. But during one of these chase scenes, this guy who's manning a boat needs to look like he accidentally fell out of it, and my god, he does a terrible job. Come on, guys, that was so goofy, you might as well put the Wilhelm scream in it. But Cage in this movie, I gotta admit, he's got the riz. He picks up this one Thai woman for dinner.
Pulling it down. The whole thing.
Oh, damn, Mr. Cage! The Riz meter is going off the chart. This is actually a really fun plot line with Cage falling in love with this woman. The woman in this movie doesn't speak English and she's actually deaf, which is a relationship I don't think I've actually seen in a movie before. She's a pharmacist that sees Cage's wounds and she's like, you know what will fix that up? Some Neosporin. You know, that's sort of a funny thing I've never really thought about, that hitmen most likely use Neosporin. I just sort of think of people using that when they scrape their knee skateboarding. They have this one scene that I really like where Cage is trying to figure out what her name is.
Rain is you? Your name means rain? This is your name.
Listen, I understand if you think these two playing charades is dumb or goofy, but I think it works, especially with the lighting and the music. Like, you can tell that there was effort put here. They have this one scene where the woman gives Cage a note saying that she's very happy when she's around him, and then she runs ahead a little bit. And as Cage is reading this, he gets jumped by the bad guy's henchmen. Cage takes them down, but she doesn't hear or see any of this, which leads to a very well-constructed moment. I mean, look at that. He is trying his hardest right now. From the realization that he can't communicate to her what happened, she just sees that he killed people. There's no dialogue there, and you can tell what everyone is feeling. Like this guy, I can totally pick up the fact that he's dead. I like that they take this idea of a woman that can't really communicate with our main character and just do something I've never seen before. Also, I want to call out the camera movement there. It just shows that there was thought behind this. So there are legit good things in this movie, which makes it that much harder for me to say that the ending is fucking terrible. Cage just says goodbye to this woman before going off to save his sidekick Kong and Kong's girlfriend from the bad guy of the movie. There's a cool action scene, but in the end, Cage is with the bad guy and cops have surrounded the car that they're in. Cage points a gun to his and the bad guy's forehead and pulls the trigger. Okay, that fucking sucked. And the movie just ends with Kong staring off into a river and credits. What the hell, man? That's it? It's not a terrible movie. There are fun action scenes, character development, and everything felt earned. The ending is a major setback, and I don't know why they felt the need to rush everything. But in general, the movie feels like everyone was trying, just couldn't put it all together, which just sucks. And I don't have a transition for our next movie, so Firebirds. Firebirds is the oldest movie on this list, which means we get a very young looking Nick Cage and a Tommy Lee Jones that honestly looks about the same. The movie's about Cage, who plays a hotshot helicopter pilot training in the army to try and take down a big drug cartel. It's definitely a Top Gun ripoff, but the movie struggles the most on understanding what a movie is. To get you to understand what I'm saying, the thing that Nicolas Cage is training to do in this movie is to fly a high-end helicopter through a rocky canyon.
You fly conventional helicopters beautifully, Preston. Your instincts and reflexes are so damn good you remind me of me 20 years ago. But the Apache is not a conventional helicopter, and instinct means diddly. You get one more shot at the bag. If you fail it, you're out. If you pass it, you're in. That's all there is to it. We don't make any exceptions in this outfit, ever.
Yeah, and it is very boring to watch.
Got a turn coming up? Make your turn. I am. Make your turn. I am. I'm doing it. Yeah, but you're doing it ugly, kid. Watch yourself!
There's some basic filmmaking things that this movie just doesn't understand. Like, instead of showing us what the evil villain does, we hear about it through not one, but two slideshows.
He received his terrorist training in Europe and North Korea. Now he sells his expertise to the highest bidder.
Gentlemen, we have some snapshots here today of a very special individual. His name is Eric Stoller. Charming, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done a lot of other evil things too. We would show you them, but, you know, our clicker stopped working, so you get the gist. We get a subplot about how Cage favors one of his eyes too much, which is a really big problem if you're flying helicopters.
Eye dominance. We all have one eye that naturally takes over. We get used to using it without even knowing it.
And he might not be able to fly the high-tech helicopters because of it. This subplot is introduced to us at the 40-minute mark and then is resolved within 7 minutes.
Pass the bag, thanks to you.
Hey!
Want to help me celebrate?
Oh, cool. Sounds like that big difficult thing was more just a slight inconvenience, if anything. And the movie doesn't even try to distinguish which helicopters are the good guys and which ones are the bad guys. So when they're doing these helicopter dogfights and shoot someone down, I'm like, yeah! I think that was a good thing.
Dubs, bogey at your 12 o'clock. Dubs!
Like, why couldn't you guys just have the good guys be in green and the bad guys in red? Like, it's not that hard. And the movie has so much army talk in it, my eyes would start to glaze over and I would have to like wake myself up to pay attention.
You must bring the nose of your aircraft to bear on the bogey. Unmasking, pop-ups, pedal turns, hovers, sideward flight can all be combined to affect your nose on position. Put your weapon system on the target. Then cross left in front of it on heading 170, climbing out at 500 feet to clear the canyon rim. You clear on that?
Yeah.
Well, do it, Preston. Do it.
Hey, wake up. Yep, sorry. I know the movie can do that to you. It is interesting to see Cage at a younger age still have the same acting style that he's known for today.
I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. Nab 'em, grab 'em, shake 'em, bake 'em, cook 'em, clean 'em, hose 'em, boil 'em, kick 'em, nab 'em, twist 'em, run. All gone. Bye-bye.
I love the karate kick at the end of that. He's like, Kia! I've said it earlier, but Cage 100% has done karate in his life. And you might be curious about that woman in the last scene. That's Billy. She plays Cage's love interest. These two used to date before the movie started, and if you think you're about to see a romance for the ages, you would be wrong. Billy, she just wants to be friends.
Can't we at least be friends? Yeah. We can just be best of friends. What are you doing? A kiss. It's a tradition for friends to still bargain with a kiss.
Yeah, you probably don't have a lot of work friends, don't you, Cage? Billy then tells him multiple times to stop.
Stay away from me, Jake.
You still care about me, don't you?
I want you to stop this. I'm going.
And 2 minutes later, he's still doing it.
Watch this, Breaker.
Let's get serious. Jake, where are you?
I remember you liked me on top.
Charming. And you know, after all this harassing, Billy's like, all right, you got me. I'll go on a date with you.
Want to help me celebrate?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Man, that's crazy because of what you said and what you did. Just don't match each other. But the movie still wants you to think that she's a badass woman, so Cage lets her drive the car.
What are you doing?
I'm driving. You knew that, didn't you?
Wee-woo, wee-woo. I hear a girl boss alert. But even after Cage lets her drive the car, she still makes him wait a bit.
You're beautiful.
Patience, anticipation, food.
What the hell? He let you drive the car. What else is he supposed to do? Don't worry though, Cage gets creative.
You know, I learned something today.
In the bag?
Yeah. About dominance. Put your right hand out to the side. Close your left eye. Good. Now, let's see. You put your left hand out to that side. Close your right eye.
I bet you'd be surprised to hear that one of the two guy writers for this movie also helped write Bambi 2. The surprise was that one of these guys helped write Bambi 2, not that there were two guy writers here. So this might sound a little anticlimactic, but Cage, Tommy Lee Jones, and Billy learn all the helicopter techniques they need to know to defeat the bad guy. You remember the bad guy, right? He was the one in all those slideshows.
His name is Eric Stoller. Charming, isn't he?
And that's pretty much it. Not a lot of conflict here, and you know, the amount of sexual harassment you would expect for an early 90s movie. Cage is still himself, even at a young age, and honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. This won't be the worst movie I talk about today, but it's definitely the most forgettable. A movie that is anything but forgettable is Grand Isle. So here are some fun facts about this movie provided by IMDb. Number 1, apparently they ran out of money and weren't able to shoot the last 2 days of filming, which is never a good sign. Number 2, according to the director, part of this movie was filmed on an iPhone. And you know, I'm not trying to dog on the iPhone camera or anything like that, but cinematic mode is just not the same as recording on a RED camera. And 3, this actually was another 0% Rotten Tomatoes film for Nicolas Cage until Alano Bazil, I think I got that right, gave it a positive review, calling it a decent movie without being a standout. It accomplishes its objective. And you know what, Alano? I agree. Yeah, I've watched a lot of 0% films, and even if this still was at 0%, this wouldn't even crack the top 10 worst movies. The movie's about this guy, Buddy, who's forced to stay at Nicolas Cage's house because of a hurricane. What starts as a night for shelter quickly turns into a night of twists, seduction, and murder. And Buddy's in quite the awkward situation because Cage and his wife, Fancy, yeah, that's their name in the movie. They're both extreme weirdos who are trying to piss off the other one, and Buddy's there just being like, please don't look at me. And what makes the situation even worse is today is Cage and Fancy's wedding anniversary, and Cage forgot.
I love you the same, so much, every day. I don't know why one day has to be more important than all the rest of them.
Nah, dude, just cut your losses here and say you're sorry. If you have to, break out the ukulele. Cage in this movie, it's tough to say because the character he's playing is like crazy and has all these manic mannerisms that fit better here than most of the roles that we're talking about today. And I do think Cage is trying here, like in this one scene. And to give you a bit more context, the main character Buddy is at Nick Cage's house to fix a white picket fence. Oh yeah, I wonder if there's any hidden meaning behind that. But the two then start negotiating how much everything's gonna cost.
Worth my while, huh? What you think?
Oh, there he is, Mr. Negotiator all of a sudden. What's it gonna cost me?
Navy man. Just got back.
Well, I'll be damned. Yeah, I know they call you all squids, but you look more like a tadpole than me.
What do they call you Marines again?
You call me a jarhead, you watch what happens. I'm just fucking with you. Get to work.
You see what I mean? Like, Cage's character is definitely off, but there's some sinister undertones with it. But there are times where things go way over the top. Like later on when Buddy is fixing the fence, Cage decides to put beer bottles next to Buddy and starts shooting at them.
Are you fucking kidding me? Huh? What the fuck's the matter with you, asshole?
What the fuck? That is unhinged behavior. Like, what are you gonna do next? Buy a ticket to Fire Festival 2? So after getting shot at, Buddy tries to leave, right? No, he stays until the hurricane starts acting up.
Hey, so I'm real sorry, but I wasn't able to finish. I can come back early next week.
You're not going to talk about how he started shooting a gun around you. Not going to talk about how you could have easily gotten shot or at the very least had shards of glass cut you. No, just going to act like nothing happened. Okay. And throughout this movie, there are going to be times with Buddy where you're going to be like, dude, leave. Now, Buddy's car breaks down and he's forced to spend the night. And at dinner, we find out that Buddy is married and also has a newborn. Cage and Fancy also wanted a big family, but unfortunately, Fancy isn't able to.
Did you and Walter have kids?
Good Lord didn't grant me the ability. I can't have them. Medically.
But at the dinner table, Cage asks some pointed questions.
I mean, I can tell you're having problems at home. Now, an example, when was the last time you had your cock sucked?
Excuse me?
That long, huh?
Bro, what? What are you doing? Are you trying to make this like a competition or something? Like, oh, okay, buddy, well, I win here. And Cage, he's not done yet.
You know what else I can tell?
What's that?
I can tell you want to fuck my wife. What?
boy. How do you respond to that? It's like, you think I want to bang your wife fancy? No. I called her a fancy pants. Not that I wanted to get into Fancy's pants. Okay, all right. I haven't been able to talk about this yet, but because Cage forgot their anniversary, Fancy has been using Buddy to get Cage jealous. She gives Buddy iced tea, kisses his bloody hand, and openly talks to Cage about how much Buddy cares about his family.
You hear that, Walt? This man actually cares for his family.
And at the dinner table, Fancy starts to feel Buddy's fancy pants.
Shame on her.
Hey, whatever tickles your fancy. And after dinner, Cage passes out and Fancy gives Buddy a tour of the house, but she doesn't want to show him the basement.
What's in here?
Bad things, buddy. Real bad things. I'm just messing with you. That just leads down to the basement. There's nothing down there but storage.
Yeah, it's just a normal basement. That's why we have 4 locks on it. You know, we just don't want those holiday decorations getting out. Now, this is where the couple starts to use Buddy for their own gain. Fancy tries aggressively to hook up with Buddy and shows him her weird voodoo dolls and telling him her sexual fantasies, and then they start playing the Are You Nervous game.
Should I keep going?
Oh my god, that's so cringe. Buddy is nervous in this situation? God, I can't even look at him. But good for you, Buddy, not cheating on your wife who's taking care of your 6-month-old right now. You know, I hope everyone aspires to be as good as you. So this wakes Cage up, who then takes Buddy to the attic, and he offers Buddy some cash if he does this one simple task.
This is what I'm gonna pay you to kill my wife.
Jesus, Cage, you really don't understand what people are saying to you. Fancy wanted you to take her out for your anniversary, not kill her. So after all of this, I think it's fair to be like, Buddy, it's time to leave. I know there's a hurricane outside, but I think you have better odds surviving that than this couple. There's this whole story about how Fancy has cancer and is gonna die anyway, and Buddy would be doing everyone a favor by, you know, doing this little task.
6 months ago, she was diagnosed with terminal blood cancer. There ain't no coming back from that.
Yeah, you should definitely believe everything that this guy says because he's been such a stand-up guy. Remember when he was shooting glass bottles near you? But there's no way Buddy's even gonna accept this, right?
She won't feel the same.
Dude, what the hell are you doing, man? I know you and Cage have been getting along so well in this movie so far, but you don't think he's gonna try and backstab you or anything? So Buddy finds Fancy in the bathtub. He slowly gets closer to her and then he fucks her. Oh, Buddy. It's like you want to die tonight, Buddy. Buddy then wants to confirm that Fancy is not dying.
You're not like sick, right?
No. What the hell did he tell you?
He asked me to kill you.
Dude, you just dropped that so casually. He made it sound like he asked you to grab him some water or something. So this all leads to Cage and Fancy fighting, and it ends up that Cage gets tied up and goes a little crazy.
Have a look in our basement. You're gonna love it.
What's down there?
You're gonna love it. Yeah.
So Buddy starts to open the basement and then Fancy starts shooting at him. Alright, I don't think you need to be this secretive about owning Columbus Day decorations. Buddy then discovers that the couple has been abducting teens and doing some weird medical stuff with them, but Buddy gets knocked out before figuring out what. The couple then stages a car crash to make it look like Buddy killed one of the hostages, and Buddy gets interrogated by a cop who's played by Kelsey Grammer.
Had you ever met the Franklins before that day?
You know, you could make a drinking game out of all the well-respected actors that pop up in a low-budget Nick Cage movie. So, you know, take a drink. Buddy tells the officers what happened, and then the cops go off to search Cage's house, but not before telling Buddy's wife that he had an affair.
Why did that officer tell me you had an affair with her?
You know, I'm pretty sure cops aren't allowed to tell people what's going on in a case, but these guys just really want to stir the pot, I guess. And at the house, Cage and Fancy are trying to act all cool as the cops search the house.
It's over. We gotta run.
I'm not leaving his house.
How did you guys not see this coming or prep for it at all? Like, whatever's in the basement, get it out. And honestly, I can't believe what Nick Cage does here actually works.
Oscar, my cat is stuck up in the tree. Would you shoot him down for me? What? I said my cat is stuck up in a tree. Would you shoot him down for me?
Man, that cop was so easily thrown off, like, really, dude? So Cage escapes and months go by, but eventually Cage kidnaps Buddy's wife and kid and has a standoff with the cops. And I'm sure you guys have noticed this at this point, but literally no one in this movie can do a southern accent.
You push me once, I can let it go. Push me twice, I might react.
Pissed you off. You boned his wife.
And I swear, at this standoff, Cage and Kelsey Grammer do like a battle of who can do the worst impression of Foghorn Leghorn.
What would y'all fellow Marines say? You think they'd condone this?
Fuck yeah, they would. This here is a sacrifice against a system that doesn't give a shit about me or my fellow Marines.
Hell, we could talk this out over a beer. Please let Buddy and his family go.
I'm done talking, George.
What's going on here?
This all ends in a shootout with Cage dying. Oh no, how sad. That character is dead. But you remember how this movie wasn't able to film certain things because they ran out of money? Well, I think I know what they weren't able to film, because this end scene is all over the place and it's all stitched together through stock video and voiceover, and the ending is pretty messed up.
Walter and Fancy Mae Franklin are reported to have held several young teens in their basement and forced them to have babies against their will.
You're the most adorable little girl I've ever seen.
Young girls, both age 7, were found emaciated and barely alive.
Ever since I was a little girl, I have always wanted a huge family.
They were forcing teens to have babies? What the fuck? You know, there are other ways to get kids, like adoption. I don't even really know what else to say. It's so like, what? All right, so cutting down this movie into individual clips does make it look a lot worse than it actually is. The movie does have tension in its longer scenes, and you do feel unnerved the entire time. Even though Cage is given some pretty rough dialogue here, I do get the feeling that he's really trying with a script that's really not that great, but there's really only so much he can do. A movie I can say without a doubt that Cage is not trying in is the movie Arsenal. Oh boy. I'm gonna do the early 2010s YouTube film review thing like, oh guys, I'm gonna need a bigger bottle. I would make myself like a whole drink and have it on the side for this movie, but it's 9:30 on a Saturday and I just don't want to do that. So believe it or not, I'm just gonna put that down over here. So believe it or not, this is actually a spin-off movie from another Nicolas Cage film called Deadfall. Deadfall apparently is just terrible. Like if Nicolas Cage was top billing for that movie, I'm pretty sure it'd be on this list. So why they decided to make a spin-off with a movie that is terrible, I have no idea. It's probably because they could get Cage for pretty cheap. Like his character is the only thing that connects these two movies from what I understand. And his character is quite over the top.
Thank you, Lindell. Have a seat, kid.
You owe me! You owe me! I raised you! You got no respect, no appreciation for your roots!
Burn his esophagus. Started gagging. Puked up black blood and bits of his stomach.
I mean, where do I even start? Like the terrible wig, the bad nose job, the overacting. I've said Nicolas Cage has been trying in pretty much every movie, but here he did not give a shit. The plot of the movie is about this guy, JP, who has the perfect life, a great business, and is so in love that he hops into a tub with his clothes on just to kiss his wife.
Baby clothes.
I don't care.
The wife's just like, oh, great, you got your dirty clothes in my bathtub. Thanks. And JP has this brother named Mikey who is very good at baseball.
Slam-a-jam-a-ding-dong, baby!
Slam-a-lam-a-ding-dong, indeed. But Mikey got into the mob scene when he was younger and actually owes money to this guy named Eddie King, who's played by Nicolas Cage. And Cage decides to kidnap Mikey, so JP will have to pay a ransom for him, and there's only so much time to save Mikey's life. So if you haven't picked up on it yet, this movie is really off in a very strange way. It is the dialogue, the story, the acting, it's just all over the place. They have this one subplot where Mikey gets robbed because he has a pound of coke in his house, and the robbers are like, where's the coke?
Where is it? The coke, it's in the fridge.
Make another joke about the coke being in the fridge.
And it turns out the coke is in the fridge. The robbers are just like, ooh, our bad, dude. We thought you were making a soda joke, but in our defense, we didn't think you were so lonely that you just casually would have a Schedule II drug in your fridge. Yeah, you need help, dude. Mikey figures out who took his coke and goes to this guy's house to give him a swirly.
Shift this drunk, goddamn everything.
Dude, what? How big is your toilet? Like, that dude's whole head is in there with some space. Like, did you get that toilet specially made for your ass? It's so funny because Mikey gives this guy like 3 or 4 swirlies.
Help me understand! You do it, huh? You working on my fucking turn!
And it does not help that this guy has the dumbest face as he's getting dunked in toilet water. Dude, stop blowing out all your air. I can only imagine the shits you've taken in this toilet. Now, another thing that's just really weird about this movie is the editing. And I don't mean like, oh, the pacing's off or they're cutting too much. No, I mean the actual editing. What you're about to see, I have to stress, I have not altered this footage and you are missing no context.
Fuck you think you go?
What the fuck was that? It's like you're trying to reveal that Batman's coming into the apartment. And this editing style pops up throughout the movie. Cage's acting, the weird editing and story all culminate into this one scene that left my jaw on the floor. And I'm not exaggerating here. This is the weirdest scene I have ever seen in any movie. And I hope I don't get copyright striked here for showing you such a long clip. Now, to give you some context here, the kidnapping has completely blown up into Cage's face. The authorities are now involved and even some mob families. Cage's brother, who is a higher up in the mob, takes Cage on a drive to talk about the whole situation, and they end up at this house and action.
Oh, buddy. I think I've done for you everything you took from me. Now you want to take my life?
No, you're good. You're really good. Please, turn around.
Turn around? What, are you going to fuck me first?
No, you're the fuck up. You fucked up royally.
Fuck you! I'm gonna try to kill my man!
I mean, just... wow. Experiencing something like that for the first time, it's just so magical, and I'm so happy you were able to witness this scene in this video, because what the hell was that? Cage kills his brother by punching him, and what did he punch to cause that much blood to hit the stereo? And the blood looks like something you would get out of a Spirit Halloween store. And the music just... why? This movie is not The Room, but there are certain scenes here where I'm like, how did we get this? Now, Cage takes this whole situation very poorly to the point where he writes his dead brother a letter.
Dear buddy, sorry about today, but you know you always were the great Jim from War of the Gargantuans when it came to me! When we were teens, cops were on us one day, we ran. You got away, but I got caught. I was 17! The day I got out, there was nobody there. You had taken my share, gone to Florida, and set up the business in New Orleans with my money! You fucker!
And I hate that you would always put the rubber on me in Catan. What the hell? Dad would be winning and you'd always just come after me.
Love Eddie. What do you think? Any good? Should I send it? Well, I can't send it because they fucking killed him today, all right?
Yeah, it really was something. Think of a death scene that you would expect to see if someone was trying to rip off Quentin Tarantino. After all this, Mikey realizes even if JP pays the ransom, that Cage is just gonna kill both of them anyway. So Mikey's then able to get out of his restraints. Mikey bumps into one of these henchmen and stabs him a ton, and the dude ends up knocking out Mikey, but he literally then just walks off being stabbed like 9 to 10 times.
Hey, Mikey got his chair. Look, he's passed out right now. He stabbed me a bunch of times, man. I'm bleeding pretty bad. Okay, yeah, I'll tie him back up.
Yeah, really sounds like you're in trouble there, dude. I love how Nicolas Cage is also like, yeah, I don't think you got stabbed that bad. How about you go tie up our guy and then go to the hospital?
Okay, yeah, I'll tie him back up.
And then this henchman just chills for the rest of the movie. Why did you make this guy get stabbed so many times if you weren't gonna do anything with it? Like, have him wear a bulletproof vest or something. I just imagine this guy is still like bleeding out and he's just like, oh God, I cannot do this for much longer. Yeah, next you're gonna tell me this guy got shot 5 different times and was still able to make his dentist appointment. So now we're getting into the climax of the movie. So we know Cage has kidnapped Mikey, but has also now kidnapped Mikey's daughter, Alexis. Time is running out and JP has the money, but now he's pissed, so he gets a gun and stares off into the distance in the New Orleans bayou. Yeah, everyone I care for is in a life or death situation, but I'm gonna take this time out of my day to look off into the distance and look cool as I cock my gun. So JP goes into Cage's hideout and nobody is there, so he just sort of casually walks around, finds Mikey, and unties him. That was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. What the fuck? Was it that easy this entire time? But Cage still has the daughter kidnapped, so JP and Mikey go to this bar where they have this interesting shootout with the weird editing style, and now, you know, someone gets shot in the dick. Okay, neat. After this shootout, Cage is still alive, but then goes out the most anticlimactic way you can imagine. Seriously, with the performance he gave, you couldn't do anything cooler? He was so cartoony in this movie, you couldn't have him like swallow some dynamite or maybe an anvil falls on him. So everyone is saved and happy, and we end the movie with the two brothers playing baseball.
Baby, go! Ah! Woo!
Slam-a-lama ding-dong, am I right? So, oh my God. Wow. This was the type of movie I was expecting to watch when I first started this video, and I gotta say, at the very least, it's memorable. Out of all the movies we're talking about today, this one reminds me of The Room the most because there's just so many moments where you're like, what were they thinking? And it's the biggest evidence of Cage phoning in a performance, or at the very least, just dicking around. Oh, and well-respected actor John Cusack is in this, so, you know, drink up. Me, as the early 2010s film reviewer, would be like, my god, these movies, they're slowly killing me. And speaking of dying, that brings us to our next movie, Dying of the Light. So, no pun intended here, but Dying of the Light is pretty light on story. There were a lot of problems in post-production with this movie, so much so that Nicolas Cage didn't even want to do any promotion for this film. Things got so bad, Cage wore a t-shirt that highlighted the part of his contract that says he can't criticize the film before it comes out. Which, really think about that. This movie was so bad, Nicolas Cage was like, yeah, I'm not even touching this. Cage plays this CIA agent who was tortured by this other man named Banir a long time ago. Cut to present day, and it's presumed that Banir has been dead for many years. But Cage doesn't believe this, and a thumb drive points to Banir actually being alive. But what was in this thumb drive?
Us to take a crack at it. On it, we found porn, Islamic sermons, Angry Birds.
They found porn, Islamic sermons, and Angry Birds. Man, that sounds like the start of a bad Mad Lib. Honestly, out of the three, I'm most surprised by the Angry Birds. Like, come on, someone show this guy some Minecraft. Now, Cage's character is definitely one for the dramatics. He gives the speech at the beginning of the movie, and I love this little twirl that he does. I'm just imagining him practicing that in the mirror this morning. And at the end of the speech, too, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was about to break into song.
And it was the call of duty and love of country. Why? Because you have values.
All right, I didn't know I wanted this, but can we get a Nicolas Cage musical now? So Cage was a field agent, but after getting tortured, he's been stuck behind a desk and just craving to go out again. He tries to show his friend Milton that he could still be a field agent by proving that he can balance a dictionary on his hand.
There are two kinds of people in this world. Men of action and everyone else.
Yeah, with that type of balance, you could easily steal the Declaration of Independence. There is a slight bump in the road, though, for Cage to get back in the field, because it turns out that Cage has early stages of frontal temporal dementia, which is a word I am very happy I got right on the first try.
This is not Alzheimer's. For many years, frontal temporal dementia and Alzheimer's were confused. But frontotemporal dementia is a separate disease.
So this causes Cage to have memory loss and extreme mood swings, which is really not something you want a CIA agent to have. So the news hits Cage very hard, and he decides to go out drinking at where else but Ruby Tuesdays.
You're at Ruby Tuesdays?
Yes, I'm at Ruby Tuesdays. That's what I just said.
Did Ruby Tuesdays help fund this movie or something? Because all I gotta say is, it would have been a lot funnier if they did this at a Chili's. And Cage might be going right back to Ruby Tuesdays because the CIA gets wind that Cage has early set dementia and forces him into retirement. And Cage, you know, isn't happy about this.
I've forgotten more about this agency than you'll ever know. Who put you up to this, huh? Who's got their hand in your pocket now? I've seen a million people like you. A million people. You got your head so far up Obama's ass, you can't see anything except the shit anymore.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. So Cage gets fired.
Get someone else to give your goddamn lecture. I resign!
Yeah, you didn't fire me, I resign. I don't need that severance or pension or whatever I get. So at this point, Cage hears about the possible sightings of Banir. The CIA has heard about these reports too, but they just don't really believe it. And even if Banir is alive, he's suffering from this disease that will later kill him anyway. So the CIA is just like, And Cage is like, oh yeah, totally, I'm just gonna go into retirement and, you know, just let the guy that tortured me and killed lots of other people go off with no consequences. Yeah, don't even worry about me. So Cage and his friend Milton fly out to where Bernier's getting these drugs that are helping him stay alive and confront the doctor that's prescribing them. Now this doctor is being forced to go visit Bernier and help with his treatment, which gives Cage the idea, what if I dressed up and put some makeup on to fool Bernier and his henchmen to thinking that I am this doctor? And they do that.
Dr. Julian Cornell.
Oh wow, that is a pretty bad idea. They look nothing alike. The doctor would have to lose 20 or 30 pounds just to sort of look like Nicolas Cage. Like, for the doctor, why didn't you just hire an actor that looks more like Nicolas Cage?
Dr. Julian Cornell.
Now, throughout this process, Cage's mental state has gotten worse and worse. He forgets the hotel they're staying at, he forgets the doctor's name, and then he smells a plant.
And a Glock.
How much?
I'm not gonna lie, I think Nicolas Cage smelling a plant wasn't in the script. I think he just sort of did that. Like, just look at Milton.
How much?
Now, these henchmen are, like, really bad at their jobs because they believe Cage is the doctor that's been prescribing these drugs.
I am Dr. Cornell.
Dr. Cornell?
Yes.
Julian Cornell?
Yes.
I am Bui. So glad you could come.
Have you guys, like, not seen a picture of this doctor? So Cage finally gets face to face with Bamir, but he still needs to take out one of these henchmen. Think, Cage, what can we do to get the upper hand on this guy?
There is a problem with the toilet. It won't flush.
You pulled the chain?
I pulled the chain. There's something stuck. It's in there.
Yep, sorry man, I just took like a massive shit. Like, I sort of don't want to flush it because it might be a world record. So Cage takes down this henchman and gets back face to face with Bamir, but he then starts to have memory lapses.
All the prophet was social justice, better schools, better jobs.
Do you think it made any difference?
Why you're dead! You!
He freezes up and doesn't know what to do, but even in this state, he still refuses to help Bernir.
Will you please help me?
No, I won't do that.
I love how even in this foggy state, Cage is still like, fuck you, I'm not gonna help you out. Now, after all of this, finding Bernir, getting to Bernir, what does Nicolas Cage do? Get up and walk out the door. Dude, alright, I know the guy's got dementia, but what the fuck? Couldn't do anything else? Like, it just sort of feels a little anticlimactic. Especially since Bamir then sends men to kill Cage and they don't. And then Cage goes back and kills Bernir. Cool, I feel like we could have cut that 10 extra minutes, but okay. Also, Bernir wasn't like, you know, maybe I should just go to another place for the day, just until I know Cage is dead. And the movie ends with Cage not realizing that he's driving on the wrong side of the freeway and dies. Wow, guys, you just went off the rails at the end there, like, God. Overall, there's not a lot of story in this movie, and it feels like a direct-to-home video type situation for a Nicolas Cage movie. Like, nothing too terrible, but nothing too exciting. I do have to say, even in this movie, Cage is giving it his all. Like, he really wants it to work, it just doesn't.
Why you're dead! You!
But now we're approaching the final movie, the worst ranked film on our list. What is this movie's name? Left Behind. But I already talked about that movie in my first Rotten Tomatoes video, and I didn't think people wanted me to talk about it again. So the second worst ranked Nicolas Cage movie is 211. 211 is an action thriller where Nicolas Cage plays a veteran cop who is patrolling with his partner as a bank heist breaks out, Cage and company need to navigate these robbers and figure out how to get the hostages out. My main problem with this movie is that there are way too many plot lines, and a lot of them just don't matter. Like, there's this older couple and it's their anniversary, and the wife comes in, she's like, "Oh honey, do you really need to go to work today? You know, it wouldn't kill you to be more assertive."
And we should be enjoying our day together.
When the man calls, you go.
You could have said no. It's our anniversary, Randy. It wouldn't kill you if you're more assertive, Randy.
So later on in the movie, the husband's like, "You know, I am gonna be more assertive," and he stands up to the robbers who kill him. Man, movie, that is really mean-spirited. Like, did it have to be his anniversary today? And then the first time he stands up for himself, he dies? Like, what are you trying to say with that? And then we have this random cop woman and her partner, and they shit-talk each other.
You'll be cleaning your gun one day, shoot your foot off.
And then their storyline ends when the woman cop gets shot in the neck. Don't worry though, because I think she survives. Then we have this random blonde woman who's trying to figure out who the robbers are, but the thing is, when you're watching the movie, you already know everything that she's trying to figure out, so it's sort of pointless. And this blonde woman's storyline ends with her surviving and walking off into the distance, which is actually sort of a surprising ending for this movie. So those are 3 plot lines that just don't really go anywhere, but we follow 5 other plot lines, and they all aren't that very good. So Cage in this movie plays like the old cop who's just too old for this crap, and his partner is actually his son-in-law, but Cage and his daughter aren't on speaking terms because Cage's wife died.
He's still coming to terms. Happened so fast.
7 months?
In a 30-year marriage. I know to us 7 months felt like...
Like a lifetime? Yeah, it was. Hers. It was chemo and radiation and pain. And losing her hair. God, Steve, the day she died, he even looked surprised.
You're mad at your dad because he was in denial about his wife dying, and you're punishing him by not talking to him? You're a terrible daughter.
He's in a tough year.
Well, I don't care. He needs to learn it's not all about him.
It's not all about him? Dude, give your dad some time to process, my God. So the daughter is also pregnant, and the son-in-law wants to name the baby after Nicolas Cage, but the daughter isn't down.
What's wrong with naming the baby after your dad?
He doesn't deserve it.
Dude, what the hell? You suck. She's so mad at Cage, she doesn't wave back to him or even want to tell him that she's pregnant. No, the son-in-law tells Cage, and we get this really awkward scene that is definitely not intentional.
Lisa's pregnant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's some news.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Cage, act like you just got told that you're going to be a grandfather, not that your son-in-law won $1,000 on a scratcher. So the 2 partners get along, even with the daughter being a bit unhinged. And today they're actually assigned to give a ride-along to this teenager named Kenny. And Kenny gets bullied at school because, I'm actually not really sure, but he does record himself in the bathroom.
What the fuck, man? What do I even do to deserve this shit? I don't bother anybody.
Okay, yeah, dude, that's pretty weird, I'm not gonna lie. The bullies come in and then give Kenny a swirly.
Stop it! I hate you! Hell!
Do people actually do this? Like, I've only seen or heard about it happening in movies and TV shows, and this guy's recording it, which, yes, always very smart to record your crimes. Kenny ends up punching one of the bullies as a teacher walks in, and then Kenny runs off.
Kenny, stop! Get back here!
You're not gonna tell the teacher that you just got a swirly? Just gonna run off and act super guilty? Now this all leads to the school threatening to expel Kenny, and the school's solution to this problem is by forcing Kenny to go on a ride-along with cops.
Try and think of this more as a course correction. It's a ride-along. He accompanies an officer on a routine patrol, and then he gets a close-up look of where bad choices can take you.
Your punishment for the black kid is making him go on a ride-along with cops? Next, you're gonna tell me you're punishing the fat kid by making him go to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Even the mom is like, really? You're doing this?
An African-American boy sits in the back of a police car all day. And that's your solution.
Well, it's that or expulsion.
Why don't you just give the kid detention like a normal school? You know, anything that happens to this kid, it's completely the school's fault.
Well, it's that or expulsion.
So these three are on their drive along as the robbers take over the bank. And these bank robbers are the dumbest bank robbers I have ever seen. And what makes it even worse is these bank robbers are mercenaries. The four guys are robbing this bank because they're owed a lot of money from this war profiteer who tried to screw them out of the money somehow. It's not very clear to me. But anyways, the war profiteer sent all the money to this bank. And these guys have done a lot to distract the cops, like going to a coffee shop and leaving a bomb. Okay, I feel like you could have just called in a fake threat. I don't think you actually had to blow up the place. And then when these guys are taking in hostages, they kill a few. And at the end, they try to take out a lot of cops by planting a bomb in one of the hostages. They do all of this for the money that has been wired to this bank. And do you want to take a guess on how much money has been wired to this bank? $1 million. Which, yeah, that's a lot of money, but like for all the explosives and guns they have, I feel like you could just sell that all on the black market and, you know, maybe get a little under than what you'd get here, but at least then you don't have to kill innocent people. And if the black market doesn't cover all that money, you guys could just go on Beast Games. Like, you guys are mercenaries. I feel like you'd do well on that show. And these robbers just don't know how to work under pressure because after the explosion at the coffee house, Cage is still on patrol and ends up parking near the bank. And the robber that's in the car just starts shooting at them. All right, pro gamer tip here. If you want the cops to not bother you, maybe don't shoot at them. And the only reason why Cage was vaguely looking at this car was because the guy parked in the red.
Look at that Escalade in front of the bank. It's parked in the red.
Dude, if you're trying to get away with a crime, park 5 feet away. Now all hell breaks loose and everyone's just shooting at each other. The son-in-law gets shot and doesn't look that great as he goes to the hospital. Cage's daughter hears about everything and rushes over. And the son-in-law is literally dying as the doctor starts surgery on him. And the daughter comes in and she interrupts the surgery so she can talk to her husband.
Yeah, you can't. My husband.
Sam, you gotta leave.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my husband.
Let us do our job. Ma'am!
I'm here.
Bro, what the fuck are you doing? Get the hell out of there! You're gonna kill your husband, dumbass! So the doctors are just like, fuck it, I guess we're gonna operate with this woman next to him. But lucky for them, the woman cop who got shot in the neck passes the daughter, and the daughter stops this woman from having surgery so she can tell her what happened.
Jacobs? Jacobs, what happened?
Not now. The dressing was plugging the wound.
I gotta see it to fix it.
Jacobs, is my dad still at the scene?
Jesus fuck, dude. Give the woman some space and let the doctors operate on her. God, this daughter sucks. You're gonna kill this woman because you want to know what happened, but you could just, you know, turn on the news. They're all over it. And remember, if your husband does die, make sure to act really sad because some people may think you just didn't care enough.
He needs to learn it's not all about him.
Ugh, all right. Cage. So he's sort of in and out of this movie because of all the plot lines, but he does get this one scene where you could argue that he's overacting, but I actually think he's trying here. He confronts the head of the police department for taking too long to respond to the attack and points out how he thinks his son-in-law is dead because of it.
What took you so long?
Chandler, I just need to know if there was. I need to know where the ride-along is.
What took you so long?
We can only get to this active shooter as quick as possible.
No, you were an hour late, and we were outgunned.
Chandler.
And my son is dead. He's dead. He has a child on the way. What took you so long?
I think you can really feel the rage that he has here, and he feels left behind and that he might lose a loved one because of this situation. This 100% could have been one of those movies where he just says, F it, I don't care, it's a paycheck, but I respect that he's really trying here. So the mercenaries have gotten their money and they're ready to go. They release all the hostages and then they realize, oh wait, we don't have anything to negotiate with anymore. Ooh. So the cops and SWAT team come in and a shootout occurs where most of the robbers die. Again, they're dumbasses. Maybe you guys wouldn't do that well in Beast Games. Now the final mercenary is standing over Cage, ready to pull the trigger when... Hell yeah, the kid that was supposed to learn that violence is never the answer saves the day by killing someone. I hope the school has a therapist because he's gonna need a lot of it. But I can safely say, no one's ever gonna bully this kid again. And the movie ends a year later when everyone surprises Nicolas Cage for his birthday. And yep, he definitely phones it in here.
Surprise! What are you guys doing here?
Come here. Surprise!
There's people in my house. Can't have that. How'd you get in?
Oh, come on, man. I just gave you a huge compliment for trying throughout this movie. I know the dialogue's not great, but you're right next to the finish line.
Hey, Kenny, where's that phone you're always screwing around with? I want to take some new pics.
Like I said, this movie suffers from having too many plot lines, and characters make really dumb decisions that really take you out in the moment. I have to say, this is not a good movie, but I don't think it's the worst Nicolas Cage film. Which brings us to the final section. So I wanted to do something a little different in this final part of the video. Here's the original list of the worst Nicolas Cage movies. Number 1 being the best ranked movie versus 11, that's the worst. And here's how I would have them. Ghost Rider 2, man, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I decided to do that extra movie. That was tough. Bangkok Dangerous, it was a movie that really tried, it just didn't come together. And it was nice to see that one of Cage's characters actually had an arc. But at the start of this video, I wanted to figure out if Nicolas Cage was a good actor or not. And here's what I've concluded with. In pretty much all of these movies, Nicolas Cage is giving it his all. It doesn't matter how bad the script is. He shows up to work, he puts in the work, and he even adds in those finer details. Sometimes he looks a little lost, and I'll be honest, I don't really know what happened with Arsenal. Like, maybe that was a character choice. I don't really know. That was odd. Nicolas Cage is actually an actor I've pointed to for many years, saying when an actor gives a bad performance, it's mostly because of the director. Because when you're an actor, you can't always figure out what the director is going for, and you have to sort of trust them that they're not going to make you look stupid. And with Cage's financial problems, he's worked with some bad directors, but I respect that he tries to make the most out of these movies and even elevates them at times. When Cage won his Oscar, he said this in his acceptance speech.
I know it's not hip to say it, but I just love acting, and I hope that there will be more encouragement for alternative movies where we can experiment and fast forward into the future of acting.
He loves acting and just like the craft of it all, and he wants to give every role that he gets his unique spin, no matter how weird or offbeat, and I respect him for that. But that's where this video ends. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, all those YouTuber things. If you want to be part of our new membership program, we would... Whoa, what the hell? Oh my god, who put that back together?